Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beaver Mosh, and well, today it's my monthly end of the month segment, Maddie's monthly metal mentions. And what we do here is I go back and I look at all of the metal albums that I really dug but didn't get to make an individual video for because it's not possible to do such a thing. But I still want to tell you about them, so this is my way of doing that. I will briefly run down and in rapid fire format just tell you about these records. Doesn't necessarily mean that they were less than any record that I made a video out of, but I just didn't get to it. So without delaying any longer, let's get into it. De Stadia af for Dev from Undergang, the latest EP from this Denmark-based old school death metal stalwart. And then we had the second romantic EP from Bergfried, this epic, folksy, heavy metal out of Austria. I really enjoy this stuff. Ancient Glacial Resurgence from Imperial Crystalline Entombment. This is the first album in 19 years from these Maryland black metalers, and it's a force. And then we had For the Good of the Realm from Weld and Woe, this triumphant, melodic, medieval-leaning black metal out of Boise, Idaho. We had Second Coming, Second Crucifixion from Weird Tales. This is violent sludge metal coming out of Poland. And then we had from Borealis, The Heritage. This is some meditative, atmospheric black metal coming out of Quebec. Aesir, some Spanish death metal from The Last Oblation. And then we had Synchronistic Illusion from Egregore, some chaotic blackened grind out of Utah. Conquering Magnificent Halls from Switzerland's Han. This is just some nice hypnotic black metal. And then we had Rokubungi from Gendo Ikari, just grind out of Glasgow. We had Lord of Shadows, Echoes of Yore. For those that like that real gothic-leaning death doom, this is for you. And then out of Virginia, we had Hungriest of the Old Ones from Ulamog. This is just some savage, old-school thrash metal. Arcus, Where the Light Once Shone, some nice, sweeping, atmospheric, post-black metal out of Germany. And then we had Bigotry of Purpose from Oregon's Grave Pilgrim, just some really excellent melodic black metal from a band that's really starting to make a name for themselves. Out of Spain, Dantalion gave us Fatum, this dour but melodic black metal. And then we had Strontium Fields from Slowmatic, just some great tuneful sludge metal coming out of Belfast. As Gomorrah Burns from the Montreal-based Cryptopsy, yes, the iconic, technical, brutal death metal band comes through with probably their best in a while. And then we had Make Them Beg for Death by Dying Fetus. Oh yes, the brutal death metal legends from Baltimore are back, and they do not disappoint. Biocancer with Revengeance, this Athens-based melodic thrash metal. And then we had Awakening from Valravan, just this dark, sinister Finnish black metal. Sungazer from Skull and Crossbone, just some great German trad metal. And then Mazaroth from Sado Misery, just some Swedish melodic metal borrowing from both death and black metal. Just some really cool stuff here. Out of Portland, we had Mass Grave Horizons from Excarnated Entity. In a month where a lot of death metal came out, this one definitely deserves some attention. And then we had Merge into Oblivion from Devouring Famine, this one-man, California-based, ultra-grim black metal project. Hagridden Black Metal, a split between Lusthag and Floodhag. I premiered this split on my channel, you can check that out. Just some two excellent raw black metal acts coming together. And then we had the Enduring Spirit from Toronto's Tomb Mold. I got to interview this band. You can check that out on the channel. What was in the beginning a very old school death metal band went full rock, and it's just some fantastic progressive death metal. Beyond Frozen Height from Huronian, some melodic death metal out of Italy. And then Lost in an Eternal Silence from Blood Oath, just some ugly old school death metal out of Chile. Stone from Georgia's Baroness, one of the biggest name in sludge. And well, they came out with another great record. This time really honing in on some of the more psychedelic elements and even some folksy influences. We had Endless Blue from Italy's Deadly Carnage. Don't really know how to label this other than post-metal. It's a really unique record. It doesn't really sound like a lot of other things and definitely worth some attention. We had Evergloom from Thorn, this grisly, punishing death doom out of Phoenix. And then we had Eye of Water from Tideless. This is some big, expansive death doom with some noticeable shoegaze elements that seem to really work. It's a really unique experience here out of San Diego. Harmasad from Germany's No Sun Rises, some haunting post-black metal with some really enchanting folk elements as well. And then we had Worst Case Scenario from Spain's Ultraraj. There's some anxiety-inducing avant-garde death metal, really fucked up shit. This thing is wild. Out of Germany, Old Ruins gave us Always Heading East, this epic-leaning black metal / melodic death metal hybrid. And then we had Hellish Hunt from Hungary's Grimheart. This is an interesting, mellow death project meets power metal. It's actually kind of goofy in the best, most fun way possible. Do you need me to tell you who Cannibal Corpse is? Horned Lord of the Thorned Castle from Finland's Moonlight Sorcery. This band is special. After creating a lot of buzz with some EPs, they really deliver with this full length. And then we had Sewer Surge from Vengeance, just some dirty, kick-ass speed metal out of Poland. Purged and Forgotten from Farscape, just some sick old school Brazilian thrash metal. And then we had The Flesh of a New God from Milan's Bekor Kailish, I believe it's pronounced. And, well, this is just some batshit insane experimental metal. Brutal, extreme, and just a total mindfuck. Under the Sign of Rebellion from Rebellion, fiery, enraged death metal out of Brazil. Then we had Pampicism from Acausal Intrusion, this atonal, technical, experimental death metal project out of the US. I reviewed the last album that this band did, actually one of my earliest reviews on this channel. This Acausal Intrusion album is even better. Axis of Tortures from Suffer Yourself, some absolutely oppressive funeral doom / death doom. And then we had What If This Was Everything from Norway's Solace Grief, some just hypnotic, hallucinatory, atmospheric black metal. Synthesis Silenciosa from Salipnosis, just some wicked, occultic, blackened speed metal out of Chile. And then we had Disfiguring Humanity from the UK's Pork Farm, it's absolutely disgusting, brutal death metal with just absolutely no frills. Lucifugium from Son of Leviathan, just some really evil, savage, blackened death metal out of California. Then we had the Desolate One from Hammer Philosophy, just a very classic sounding Norwegian black metal album. Dawn of the Axe from Germany's Cruel Force, some old school speed / thrash metal. And the first album from this band in 12 years. We had Traumatic Putrefaction from Poland's Abominated, just some big, brutal, pounding old school death metal. Transients from Germany's Permutation, some melodic blackened death metal. Then we had Solar Temple from Germany's Terra Builder, some chaotic death grind with some blackened elements. Pithesis from Naganja, just some vicious North Carolina black metal. And then we had from Disguised Malignant entering the Gateway, some big oppressive death metal out of Helsinki. Rorqual Silence out of Switzerland. This is just some wild, dramatic, dark sludge metal, doom metal with some noticeable post-hardcore elements and even maybe some power violence. And then we had Crypts of Ancestral Knowledge from Olympia's Wolves in the Throne Room. This atmospheric black metal act is out with a new EP. And I think this one really finds a nice sweet spot with their interest in like ambient music and their black metal. Jailbreak from Nervosa, the latest from this Sao Paulo thrash band. And then Circulate from Omni Vortex, some mind-bending tech death out of Helsinki. Uter Brandzennen Konin from Wildgiftsluster. I hope I pronounced that as best as I could. And this is just some absolutely haunting, atmospheric black metal out of Germany. And then we had Blencathra 2. On the Shores Where Now Nothing Stands, some really emotion-driven, somber, atmospheric black metal out of England. Dismal Aura with Imperium Mortalia, just anti-colonial black metal out of Ottawa. And then Cold and Stiff from Chromlech, just some chilling black metal out of Germany. All the Colors of Darkness from Rocky's Pride and Joy out of Adelaide, Australia. And some of the hardest hitting stoner metal I've heard all year. And finally we had Apathy Chasm from Tides of Sulfur. Some destructive, anxiety-inducing sludge coming out of Wales. And hey, guess what? We did it. We got to the end of the list, the end of my September edition of Maddie's Monthly Metal Mentions. We got through a lot of bands. I hope you found something that stuck out to you. Hopefully you maybe discovered something, or maybe I led you to something you may have passed on earlier. Let me know. That's the end of the video. Leave a comment. Tell me these things. I love getting to engage with those. It'd mean the world to me if you'd consider subscribing. If you like this content, hit the like button. Tell me those things. With the click. I have a Twitter you can follow. Link to that is the bio of this YouTube channel. I have a Patreon now that you can support. No pressure, but it would mean a lot, help keep this channel more sustainable. I plan in the next couple weeks to release a exclusive review of a more classic record, probably something in the new wave of British heavy metal camp. So get on that, subscribe, and you'll get access to that. Just keep it metal. You watching right there. My name is Maddie, aka Beaver Mosh, and I am signing off.